All right, so here is the video for the hotkeys. Let's see if I remember them all. I didn't go check, so this is a good game for me to see how well I remember things. Okay, so the eraser, I'm going to first start with a line. So L, let me click on the, make it active, L. So L gives me the line tool. And remember, the line tool is this click and release. Okay, so click, move, click. Okay, now I should say that again. Let me go back. Click, release, move, click, release, move. Do you see that? Okay, now that's, you can work it two ways. Okay, you can do the click and release. It's important to remember that the click and release allows the line to keep going. If I click, hold, and drag and let go, I don't get that additional line, but I do get the inferencing. Do you see that? That's all the inferencing. All right, so L for line tool, R for rectangle tool. Okay, and there's my rectangle tool. All right. E for erase. Ooh, naughty, naughty. Need to get rid of those, right? Those are called artifacts. So when you go to print, that will confuse the whole thing. It's absolutely going to trash it. Okay. Let me talk. Oh, selection tool, right? That's the arrow key up there, right? That's spacebar. All right, and then I can select things. Notice that I can't select things unless I'm selecting everything. So there's two different ways. Let me show you. There, you see that? I just made that selection. It doesn't work. And now I'm going to do this selection. Notice what it's doing. So the selection tool has two different functions. If you select from left to right, you need to include everything to select it. So it selected all of these things and that entire line right there. Did you see that? Go back and watch it again. So when I select from the left to right, it will only select those objects that it engulfed completely. So it got all of this line and all of that line. Now, if I select from right to left, notice it's even a different designation. It's dashes, right? See that? So it selected the parts, okay? And this is the whole, okay? Remember the select from left to right, you have to get everything. It will only select the thing that is completed, that you have completely within the box. The selection from right to left is going to select everything that it touches, that it goes over. Okay, so notice how that particular activity selected this, 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 and the face, but it didn't select these lines because it didn't even go near those lines. Okay, go back and watch that again. So that's the selection tool. So we've talked about the selection tool, the erase tool, the pen tool, the rectangle tool. Ooh, let's talk. I'm gonna select over here. Just that easily gets rid of any kind of selection that I have. I'm going to use the push pull. So the push pull is P. P. And push pull click. Ooh. Ooh. Can we get in there? Can we get in there and see it? Watch, 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 watch. There we go. See? So that's going to happen on occasion as well. Okay? Where you accidentally get something, an artifact inside. Okay. Notice here too that there is not a solid line. So this is like a phantom. There's no geometry from here to here. So you need to make sure you get that. And we'll talk about that later. But I just wanted to point that out right now. There's no geometry here. So there's nothing I can print here. This would crash and burn for a print. So that's the P. I'm going to zoom out. So one of the things you'll notice is that I'm doing is when I'm zooming, okay, wherever I hold or place my mouse is where I'm going to zoom. Okay, I zoom. So wherever I end up going, that's where I go. That's zooming, right? Orbit is, and this is, remember, I struggled with this. Orbit is pressing the middle mouse button down without touching any of your other mouse buttons. Okay. I'm using a vertical mouse and it's new. I've only had it for a few months and I'm still getting used to it. I'll love it. You should get one. If you ever buy a new mouse, get a vertical one. Okay, so that's Orbit. Now, one of the things that I always screw up with is the pan. So I'm going to just do the cheat that I know, which is Shift, middle mouse button. Shift, middle mouse button for the panning. Okay. M for move. So I can move. I can move things. And one of the things to get used to when you move something is always grab it by a corner, a very distinguished point of geometry. Don't kind of grab it in the middle and move it because it never behaves correctly. Okay, try to grab, a line, what is a line going to do? But anyway, try to grab it from an end point. See, now look, I can move that around to a different spot. Okay, try to grab it from an end point. T is your tape measure. So I can measure this if I wanted to, right? Okay, so I'm going to escape. If you don't finish the action of the tool, you kind of stall in the middle of it, you can hit escape to escape it completely. You don't have to do an undo. The only way you have to do an undo is if you finish the completion of it. Okay, so if I go back to line tool, click, and I'm moving, I haven't finished the move yet. I haven't clicked to set that line, so I can escape it. But if I click and move and click, I've finished it. I can't escape it, but I can escape the extra line. Do you see that? How that line didn't pop up? I now have inferring. Okay. There's lots more tools. The paintbrush is, I believe it's B. Yes. Ha. B. Okay. Let's see. We also have dimensions. I think dimensions is D. Nope. Dimensions. So I'm thinking. I'm drawing a whole blank. Oh, well, I don't remember. Now, oops. Undo. I'm going to go back to the selection tool. Now, one of the things I want to show you that you could do on a regular basis is if you select something and select the whole thing, you can hide it. Okay, you can hide it. Don't worry, we'll talk a lot about these different things in here, but right now, sometimes when you're building, something is really in the way, and the best way to do it is just to hide it, to get it out of the way. Sometimes moving it is just fine, but sometimes you want to just hide it completely so that you're not distracted by it, what have you. But you can hide it. Now, here's the problem with that. I can't see it. I can't right-click and find it again. Do you see that? I have to come up here and do a search for unhide. Okay. And you can see, like, I can't unhide a selected object because it's not selected right now. It's grayed out. It's not available. I can hide the last thing I hid, but sometimes I hide more than one thing. So I can hide all. You know what? I wonder if they updated. So let's go take a peek here. Does it give me, okay, so these are my views. All right, so I'm going to go back to orthographic. This is this is orthographic mode, and this is perspective mode. And we'll talk about those later. I'm just wondering, oh, right here, display, unhide all. So I have to search for it. That's pretty cool. So unhide. There we go. Down in here, remember you always want to start with meters. If you absolutely know that all you're going to do is millimeters, then go to the millimeters. All right. Entity, we'll come and talk about entity information in a second, but this is just your basic hotkeys. Okay. Arc tool, A. Now there's lots of different arc tools. Okay. Here's one that's really annoying. Rotate is not R because what is R? The rectangle tool. Q is the rotate tool. Isn't that just weird? And the rotate tool actually has two functions to it. Okay. You got to create a pivot point with it. All right. I can undo. So if I make sure I have green here, I'm going to hold down Shift so it keeps it into that orientation. Click here, and then see how I can rotate that? That's pretty neat, huh? We'll play a lot more with that. Okay, some tools have 2 action or 3 actions that you need to do in order to get it to function correctly. That we'll come back to that. I think that's everything for now for hotkeys.